Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Backstage Pass. I'm your host, Gordie Tamayo with the Boise Beat. And today we're diving into the world of folk and indie music with a very special guest and a little surprise down the road as well. A man whose strings have danced to the rhythm of innovation and creativity. He's a Grammy-nominated songwriter, a former guitarist for the Lumineers, and an artist whose fingers speak volumes on the guitar fretboard. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm thrilled to introduce you to Maxwell Hughes, a true maestro of melody and a visionary in the world of music. From his early days gracing small stages to contributing chart-topping hits, Maxwell's journey is one of passion, perseverance, and I'd have to say extraordinary talent. If you don't believe me, you got to just go YouTube it, find it yourself, and you'll find it out for yourself. What's up, Maxwell? How you doing today?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. It's an honor to have you here with me, and super excited for anybody listening here to get to know you as well if they haven't had the opportunity to. And we'll give you a special plug of where they can do that here upcoming pretty soon as well. But hey, I want to give a little bit of a backdrop and some backstory behind a little bit who you are, because you've had a remarkable journey from playing in small venues like the Skinny Pancake to contributing to bands like the Lumineers. You remember the Skinny Pancake, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Burlington, Vermont. That's so funny.
Uh-huh.
Did you work there, or
No,
how did?
no, I just
No?
did my homework.
Oh, okay, right on.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, man, that's been a minute, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, but it's cool, man, to see that you kind of progressed in this journey of yours as an artist and as a musician. But talk to me, if you could, about those days of transitioning, from those early days of music to where you are today, man. How's this journey been?
Oh, it's been a process. It's been a grind. That's so funny, that Skinny Pancake show. That was so the Lumineers. We had a residency in New York City,
Hmm.
and for an entire month, and we would go kind of north, south, and west from there for the rest of the week. And we ended up playing up there, and had a great response. Going from the residency in New York that was like sold out to going to these different venues, like we played up in Maine,
Hmm.
to just the bartender
Well,
for the entire night after we just played a sold out show in New York City. And then pretty soon, like, he wasn't even there. He left.
you're
So
playing for just the chairs.
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy how things change, huh? Man,
Yeah.
yeah, because you've had quite a pretty cool journey in what you've been doing from even up to date here. And for people that don't really know, that's why I want to try to give some homework on it for people to jump in and really find out just the phenomenal artist that you are, because you got some great stuff. And your style, it's kind of been described as blending drumming, picking, and finger tapping. And one of those hallmarks that really sets you apart from other musicians. Talk to me about your major influences and kind of how you developed this distinctive style that you now
Yes.
carry.
My biggest influence was Tommy Emmanuel. He's an Australian guitarist, and yeah, I got a DVD of his when I was a kid, and just started learning how to use the thumb pick.
What's
And
a DVD, by the way?
I know, right?
No, just joking.
And then yeah, I just wore that thing out, and probably spent 1,000 hours learning one of his
Wow,
songs.
really?
So yeah, and then from there, Khaki King, I saw her on the late night show
Hmm.
doing that more percussive kind of thing with the guitar.
Yeah.
And then just I really fell in love with that style, so spent a lot of time learning that, and then just kind of blended the two together just with my own little flair on it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. So this kind of a what would you call it? Kind of an evolution of an instrumentalist, right? Somebody
yeah.
that taps into this place of creativity and just continues to kind of experiment with new things. It's pretty interesting. So it sounds like you've been able to pick up from people that have mastered their craft in some way, shape, or form, and then just make it your own. Is that true?
Yeah, that's I was always that kid that was in the front row of a concert,
Mm,
not dancing, not singing along, and just like staring at the whoever was playing guitar
yeah.
on stage to just try to learn anything I could.
Okay.
Um,
Super observant.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's interesting. Yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, and speaking of observing, I think that the fact that you've been such a student of the art itself, it's allowed you to master your own craft. And so, you've been able to get to a point where you've been, recognized as best instrumentalist by Fort Collins Music Association, a Grammy nomination under your belt, like some pretty cool accolades that people strive their whole lives to try to obtain, right? Have some of these accolades influenced your approach to music and creativity to date?
To be fair, I don't really. The accolades are nice, but
Mm-hmm.
it's more about the creative journey, I think,
Yeah.
for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, I'm doing another music project actually with my cousin called Babes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more of like we're adding a lot of elements. It's doing electric guitar, which is a different thing than what I'm normally
Yeah.
doing. We're adding like trap beats, kind of some like
Really?
90s hip hop feel.
Okay. That sounds
Uh,
cool.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I think as far as what influences me, it's usually just more other music, other musicians, kind of seeing what I can do to get better at the craft and,
Mm-hmm.
try different things. So,
Yeah. As I was kind of digging up a little bit, some info and trying to figure out a little bit of your backstory, that was one of the things that kind of stuck out with me when I read some kind of article or some commentary about your time with the Lumineers, but kind of how that progression ended up taking you to a different route to explore your creativity, not be kind of pigeonholed and not being able to explore in that side of you that you as a musician need to be able to express and utilize right what's inside of you. And you had some great contributions to that group during that time frame, but just seeing how you're willing to step out and do kind of your own thing and figure out what it is that you do best and who you are. I found that encouraging myself personally and kind of inspiring in hearing you do that. So I can understand, what you're saying about the accolades. Those are kind of the byproduct of just being good at what you do and what you love to do and pursue, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it is nice to be recognized for
sure.
a thing that you do,
Yeah,
just like anything. But and it looks good on the musical resume. You know what I
yeah, no
mean?
doubt.
So yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, one of those on the musical resume is the hit Stubborn Love, right? That you contributed to as
Mm.
well. And speaking of that, like it made me think of, okay, what's your process for songwriting? Like, how do you approach collaborative projects with your time like you did with them and, other projects similarly? How do you approach those when you're talking about getting together with the group of people? You're all after something maybe similar in style, but everybody brings their own perspective and talents and gifts to the table, right?
Right.
How do you work collaboratively with people to put a project together like that?
So that one was a bit different. I guess every project's a little different,
Mm-hmm.
given the people involved and how the dynamic goes and that kind of thing. Majority of the songs were written before I joined the Lumineers,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was more of a musical influence, writing different parts and that kind of thing for that project.
Okay.
Um, the last band that I was in was called Edison,
Mm-hmm.
and we I don't even know how we wrote most of the songs. Sometimes I would have just like a little guitar thing that I would noodle on
Uh-huh.
in the studio, and then our lead singer Sarah at the time would be like, "Oh, that's really cool," like, and start singing along. Other times, Dustin Morris and I would just sort of, we were always really good at improvising together.
Yeah.
So a lot of songs would start that way.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
or
Cool.
Sarah would just kind of be in the corner with a guitar, and then bring it to us, and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So really just kind of meshing with people's personalities and
Yeah.
kind of flowing with things. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
cool. Speaking of Edison and your buddy Dustin Morris, it's been a minute since you guys have shared a stage together, from what I understand, right?
Yeah, it's actually been since 2018 in Treefort.
Wow.
That was kind of our first time playing Treefort and last time sharing the stage together.
Okay.
So
Well, man, I was excited to hear that he's going to be helping you out with the show in upcoming November here at the end of this month and
yeah.
being able to open for that event. And so, I thought it'd be totally cool. If I had a virtual drum roll, I'd be chopping that up right now and just hitting it. Because guess what? I got somebody that's joining us here today.
Oh, what's up?
Uh,
I don't have a snare drum, but yeah,
yeah,
it's
that
like,
works.
man,
I'll
this
go
is
with the
great.
tambourine. I'm kind
Yo,
of a
what's up,
tambourine man
Dustin?
myself.
Yeah, I went to
Get
college
it.
for this for 7 years.
You went to tambourine school?
I
Uh,
did. Dropped out to do the slide whistle.
Yeah.
yeah.
What's up, Dustin?
Man, I had no idea that you were going to be here. I was going to be here. I feel like we're on a talk show and you're my long lost brother.
Yeah.
Yes. Good to see you.
More,
Thanks for having us, dude.
Yeah, for sure. So, in case you don't know, this is Dustin Morris. He's also a musician, right? You're an artist. He's going to be helping and playing over here for this event coming up on November 26th over at the Sapphire Room in Boise, Idaho. So, let's talk to you for a minute, Dustin. Toss it over to you. And just, I want to ask you how sharing the stage with Maxwell has influenced your own music and kind of what fans can expect from coming up and hearing you.
Man, it's Maxwell told me about this show, I guess about a month ago, 2 months ago, and I was just so excited. Because he was talking earlier about our songwriting process in Edison. We spent, three of us, Maxwell, myself, and Sarah, spent so much time together. Mm-hmm. So we just sneak off, before sound checks or in the hotel rooms, and we start writing these songs. Yeah. I took notes. I haven't done one of these in a while, so I got to work out my podcast muscle.
Very good. Yeah. That is good to have you. Oh, I did want to ask you about the I want to ask you about the tiger portrait in the background. Where'd you get that?
I've had that since before I was born.
Really?
No, I've had that for, I was about 20 years old in Dallas. I saw it in a pawn shop and it stayed with me forever. It went through a whole marriage and went through a couple other relationships. I hated that thing. Still sticking around. To finish up answering my little tangent there, there was so much time, and a lot of times before Edison would play, Maxwell would actually open the show.
Okay.
And hands down, man, it was one of my favorite parts of the night. I could just watch him, and I did watch him hundreds of times, and just sort of like, wow, it's just magical. Like, how many fingers does he have?
Right.
But
yeah.
I'm like, where are my extra fingers?
Yeah.
Where are my extra fingers?
Yeah, it is pretty amazing to watch it in action. That's for sure. I want to toss this to both of you and ask you a little bit about kind of your artistic philosophy, if you would. Sometimes people may describe your playing style. This is Maxwell in particularly. Creating kind of a musical language that's unheard of. Like, elaborate for me on the philosophy towards music and guitar playing, if you would. Can you just talk to me about what that means to you and how you approach your creativity and being able to share your music with listeners?
It's been a while since I've done one of these as well. So my
stretch it.
Yeah, I gotta stretch it. I would say the process for me for writing for the instrumental stuff, it was really from a place of like vulnerability and a fear of like singing. So I would use the guitar to try to fill in that extra space.
Yeah.
And try to make it as creative or like as cohesive as a normal vocal song would be. That was always my goal, was to try to like fill the void of a singer and make it as interesting as it could be with just one instrument.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty unique how you can do that and how you can tell a story that way with just the instrument. But how you piece it all together really does tell. I guess it brings up different emotions that you're able to portray to somebody by the way that you're hitting your strings, by the way that you're strumming, by the way that you're beating. Like, each one of those kind of carries its own voice together. And so it really is a pretty interesting way of communicating emotion, communicating thoughts, communicating your creativity to a listening audience there. So, like, again, anybody that is unfamiliar with either one of these gentlemen's work, I highly, highly, highly suggest that you jump online and check it out, which we'll give a plug to that here, not only in the show notes, but I'll give you a plug for that in just a minute. I want to talk about kind of the past, if you would, and just kind of a reflection about maybe standout moments or defining moments in your careers. Like, let's toss it to you first, Dustin. Talk to me about a standout moment in your walk as a musician, something that like just really stuck with you, maybe either challenged you, that caused you to kind of continued the course forward? Because anybody knows that it's not easy in this particular space, or one that was like super encouraging and just inspired you to continue trekking on forward? Anything come to mind?
Oh yeah, a couple of things actually, man. Well, Maxwell and Sarah and I lived in a van, right, for many years, and just that was eye-opening and a challenge itself and amazing. And sometimes I wish I could go back to that life. I'm still kind of there. All you had to do was kind of iron your clothes in the van and just keep it simple. And challenging musically was there were a lot of different kind of incarnations that we all went through musically. At first, I started off with just two little drums and kind of toms. So we had this kind of warpath sound.
Yeah.
And then we ended up doing a writing weekend. We were in this room full of all these instruments, and there's a drum set over there. So I kind of started tinkering around with the different drums, and I found myself standing up and trying to learn how to play this. It was really challenging at first, but 7 or 8 shows into it, my drum set was like tom here, a snare up here, a couple cymbals over here, and I played standing up because I was still playing the mandolin and trumpet.
Yeah.
And that was pretty amazing. And then the way those guys were so supportive of that, they were like, man, like, that's not too ridiculous. That actually sounds pretty cool, which we ended up on. Probably my favorite part of milestone of that band was playing a sold out Red Rock show in Colorado.
Nice.
That was cool. Recently, I've been recording a ton of music, and probably my favorite show lately is I'm a multi-instrumentalist, and that's still to this day. I play with a guy named Steve Fulton, and I ended up just the two of us opened up for the Steve Miller Band this summer. There's about 7,000 people there, and it's
nice.
Really, it was cool, man. It brought back the old days because we used to jam in front of, some nights 50 people, or some nights 1,000 people, 800 people was not uncommon.
Yeah,
that's what's so good. So I guess that's challenging me to this day to do more of that.
Yeah, that's cool. How about yourself, Maxwell?
Standout moment?
Yeah, standout moment for you.
I got to open up for Tommy Emmanuel a couple of years ago. That was a really, really cool experience, and to actually see him and like behind the stage and behind the scenes was a pretty eye-opening thing to see how that's how, from the time he got there to hours after the show ended, the guitar was in his hands and he was playing the entire time.
Wow.
And he would have a conversation with you, just going nuts. Yeah. So that was a pretty cool experience to kind of bring that musical journey full circle.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Well, what about on the horizon for both of you here? I mean, is there any cool collaborations that you got in the works that are on the horizon, or projects that you're looking to knock out here sooner than later? You're probably always working on something, right? But anything that's a tangible date that you put in place that you want to put on the radar here for anybody?
Maxwell?
Nothing tangible date-wise, but I got a new philosophy. It's called ABC, and it's always be creating. So I've got a few podcasts that I'm working through, kind of the kinks, trying to get ready to release.
Yeah.
So those will be coming out hopefully by the end of the year.
Okay.
My new project, Babes, we just released our first single on Friday. So that was
right.
So that was a pretty cool. It's just been a while since I released anything last, so that was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah.
To go through all that again.
That's what's up. Yeah. Cool. How about you, Dustin?
Man, currently I'm really excited. I released a record in April called Save Those Things, and I ended up getting a tattoo of it. Yeah, long story. I'll get into it later. Another podcast. But currently I'm making a record right now, full band, 8 songs. I'm chipping away at it and trying to release it in fall of next year. So pretty excited about that. Just kind of checking away. And I've been lucky enough to play with a lot of musicians in the studio lately, and it's hiring me to play the trumpet or mandolin. So learning is one of my favorite things, and it drives my girlfriend crazy. But just playing and practicing the same song over 150 times. It's like, yes, getting better every time. Neighbors too. Sorry.
But both of you, I mean, you're speaking of something that I think any creative can appreciate and maybe relate to, is that there's almost this obsession that comes about with what you do, right? You mentioned, you know, the highlight of your career, you know, interacting with people who just can't put a guitar down, and it's just a part of who they are, and even in conversation. And yourself, you know, listening to the same thing 1,000 times repeatedly, going over and over again until you just can't get it wrong, right? It's like this kind of wild obsession, if you would, with it. What would you encourage other musicians that are out there, artists that are in a similar vein, you know, where they're trying to get a crack at something that opens up an opportunity for them, or they're needing some inspiration. They need a high moment in their career. They need somebody to speak life into them in this season of life that they're at. What would you say to somebody like that that's listening currently, Maxwell?
I would say don't, you know, there's going to be hurdles along the way. You're going to have little wins and little losses pretty regularly. But I would say just keep going with it. Like our buddy Nathaniel Rateliff, he, you know, just never stopped doing music, and he's a Denver guy, and I played a bunch of shows with him in different musical, you know, as a soloist or a part of an old band called The Wheel. And it wasn't until Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats that it popped off, and now, you know, I think it had a #1 song at one point, didn't he?
Wow. Yeah, Son of a Bitch.
Yeah.
And that's the name of the song too.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's not just
yeah, good plug. Yeah, that's good. That's good inspiration for him. How about Dustin? How about you? What would you say?
Man, it's really, really similar to Maxwell's. I just wrote two words, jump in, but jump in with both feet, commit to do it.
Yeah.
And don't stop, because you will get noticed over time. It's gonna go on continuously, you know, no matter what. So find something you love and keep doing it. But at the same time, and this is gonna sound weird coming from my generation, but go easy on yourself, you know, like don't beat yourself up if you're not having victory after victory. You know, it's perception, right? So find the small ones and make them a big one for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dustin Morse.
Yeah, that's great. We're gonna start dubbing you the tambourine man.
This is my therapy session. As you watch me break down. Oh god,
we got you. We're gonna lift you up here.
Oh, thank you, guys.
That's what's up. That's cool. Well, as you might have heard just a little bit ago, I was kind of teasing towards something that's taking shape here with both of these gentlemen here, and that's at the end of this month here on, what do we got? November 26th. I want to say it's on a Sunday.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, November 26th at the Sapphire Room. These two are going to be hitting the stage, and they're going to be tearing it up for you, so you can come and enjoy an evening of phenomenal music, get some grub, get in the good atmosphere where you can check out what they do. And so if you haven't already got it on the radar, make sure you mark your calendars for it. But super excited that both of you guys join me here today. Thankful for your time here. And, you know, I just want to give you a final thought or final question here and ask, where can people find you at online if they want to check you out and hear what you're all about?
Got Instagram at Maxwell Hughes Music. Right now, that's probably the best place to go. I just had to nuke my website, so and working on rebuilding it right now. So
okay, yeah, all right. So Instagram. How about you, Dustin?
You had to nuke it. Can you
yeah.
Hey, you want to elaborate on that for us?
Plug? Yeah, just give me something.
Yeah, it's a really old. It was a Parallax website. Okay. I don't know much about how it was the backdoor stuff, but it stopped loading at a certain point. And so, yeah, I think it was like that for years because I didn't really go to my website a whole lot.
Well, did you try turning it off and then back on?
Hit reset.
Yeah. Shake the plug.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find all my stuff at Dustin Morse Music at website DustinMorseMusic.com. Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. Dustin Morse Music. My phone number is Dustin Morse Music. I don't know if you can do that on the phone anymore. I guess you still have the letters under each number, the 3 letters.
Yeah, you still can.
Okay. Call me at Dustin Morse Music.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, hey, I'm kind of excited. I am not kind of. I am excited for both of you guys coming up. I'm excited for this upcoming event. Like, what do you want to leave listeners with to say, like, why they should come and check it out? Like, why would they want to listen to your music?
Get ready to be blown away by Maxwell Hughes and Dustin Morris' live music experience. Their great music will transport you to another world, and their heartwarming stories will make you laugh and cry. The combination of their music and storytelling will leave you with a sense of joy and fulfillment that you won't soon forget. And on November 26th, you can see them live for an unforgettable evening of entertainment. Don't miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see Maxwell Hughes and Dustin Morris live. Get your tickets now before they sell out.
Well, see, you heard it firsthand yourself. I didn't have to explain too much, and neither did these two, right? You want to come and make sure you check it out November 26th on a Sunday at the Sapphire Room, Boise, Idaho. It's about to go down. Thank you, fellas, for joining me here today on Backstage Pass with the Boise Beat. This is your boy, Gordie Tamayo. Until next time.